Hello, hello. Check, 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 check. One, two. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Art Battle Omaha. We are just getting set up for round number 1. We are going to have 2 rounds of 6 artists painting tonight, and they will have 20 minutes only on the clock to go from blank canvas to masterpiece right in front of your eyes. You, the audience, and the audience in the room in Omaha will be voting for the best artists to move forward, and those artists will be competing in a final showdown round at the end of the night. So stay tuned, round number 1 coming up very quickly. We are here tonight for Art Battle Omaha. Round number 1 starting in just a few moments. We have our 6 artists stepping up to the easels right now, getting ready, getting their paint set, and preparing their ideas to perform in front of you, our live audience. Round number 1 beginning very shortly. These artists will only have 20 minutes on the clock, and it will be your job to vote for which artist you think is best. So make sure that you go to artbattle.com/vote and get registered to vote so that you can help us choose your favorites. Five, four, three, two, one. And our first round in Art Battle Omaha has just begun. Already we can see the paint starting to fly. Right now we are here with Angelina Gutierrez, artist really well known for doing these very instinctual, semi-abstracted pieces that are very intuitive in their movement. So looking forward to seeing what Angelina does. Here we are with Homa, and Homa has been selected as a wildcard artist. And so that means that this artist was chosen from the crowd to fill one of our easel spots. And so we don't know anything about Homa yet, so it'll be absolutely a surprise to see what ends up on her canvas. We can see that she's probably going in, I think, with a little bit of graphite to start. A lot of artists like to get their kind of initial sketch going down. Always interesting to see the approach that the artists take in the first few seconds. It really helps set the groundwork. Are they going to be going in with a careful sketch to kind of show that they have a full plan, or are they going to go kind of more in the realm of what Angelina's doing, where she's doing something very colorful and abstract right off the bat? Here we are with Anthony Pena, and Anthony got quite the cheer from the audience when his name was announced. So I expect that Anthony is well known in the community and has quite a few fans there tonight. And looks like Anthony has got a lot done in only a few minutes. We have this sketch that's taking up most of the canvas already. Got a face, a full torso kind of cutting off at the thighs there. So quite the complex composition to be executing in just about 90 seconds. And I believe that this is Cory, and Cory is well known for kind of this doodling style, and we can already see that evidenced here with the execution of two faces, and looks like Cory is using a Sharpie. Here we are with Larriona, and Larriona also looks like she's gone in with some marker here to start off the initial sketch. Definitely have a portrait going at this point. Lots of harsh lines delineating the portrait around the edges. Larriona, some of her work that we were able to check out earlier was these kind of floating portraits that were surrounded by these bursts of color. So I'm interested to see whether or not Larriona brings us into that realm with her tonight. And last but certainly not least, we have Brittney Thompson, and Brittney has this really interesting washy color gradient going on, very much like a watercolor application kind of technique, where the paint has been very, very watered down. She's allowing it to bleed into itself, and which is creating this beautiful gradient effect, and creating these soft transitions between colors. And then in the top portion, I'm not sure what that is going to be yet. It's this odd looking object kind of coming from the top of the corner of the canvas. Is this perhaps a faucet? Maybe is what I think that I'm seeing now. So it looks like a faucet, and we can see these drips of water starting to come down. I'm liking this piece. It's a little bit surprising, and that always brings kind of a sense of whimsy into the art battle arena. We have 15 minutes remaining on the clock in this round, so these artists have been painting for 5 minutes and have got quite a lot done, I must say, already. And we see this portrait going down here. I believe that this is Homa. And I believe that this is a male portrait. I'm using a lot of darker colors here, and it looks like Homa's actually using really interesting results because you get these softer, rounder blending opportunities with the paint. So I gotta say, I do actually really like seeing finger painting in art battle. It also kind of brings the audience into this performance aspect. Artists or audiences love seeing artists getting very physical with their work. Just really leading into that performance aspect. Here we are back with Anthony Pena. And we've got quite the kind of superhero stance going from this figure that Anthony is working on now. Very strong body, very kind of confrontational almost body language and strong eye contact already from the figure. So I like that kind of that strength that is exuding from that piece. Here we are with Cory as well. Cory's still working in markers, true to his kind of doodling street art style. And we're seeing some hatchwork going in now with, I think, a red Sharpie and a green Sharpie. And Cory has decided to execute 2 portraits, which can be difficult in the timed arena of art battle. Trying to execute 2 faces, you're really giving yourself twice the challenge. Here we are with Larriona, and Larriona, true to her style, is giving us this very vibrant background to contrast a slightly more subdued color palette in the face of the figure. Looking like some careful brushwork here from Larriona too, creating this beautiful curve around that portrait and just kind of continuing the aspects of drawing by bringing that background in closer to the figure. Back with Brittney here and our otherworldly faucet that is kind of dripping into an ocean. I'm wondering if this piece is going to kind of take on a statement aspect, or perhaps we're going to be going more psychedelic. Really could go anywhere here. The way that the orange right up against the blue is kind of like vibrating those complementary colors, and I'm really enjoying that contrast. We can see that Brittney is kind of creating those ripples around the drip coming from the faucet. And we can see that she's doing that basically just with brushwork, creating kind of that texture within the paint that she's already got laid down. Here we are back with Angelina, almost like a Picasso feel, very cubist kind of work from this piece. Oh, and looks like we're getting some spray action as well. Angelina has chosen to use this pink spray paint as her background. And I have to say, I'm impressed with this can control here. We're getting some really tight lines from Angelina and this can. She's bringing it right up close to this abstracted portrait that she's created. And I'm not seeing a lot of overspray. So good job, Angelina, on your can control. Back with Homa here, and we can see that Homa has added in quite a lot of bright clothing. We're getting kind of this golden shawl almost. Back with Anthony here. Oh, and looks like Anthony is doing a mermaid. Perhaps this is going to be a commentary on the new live-action Disney's Little Mermaid. I know that there's a lot of discussion around that topic right now, being that Disney chose to feature a black mermaid. And I have to say, I love it. And I love what Anthony is doing. And I think that this representation is just going to be phenomenal. Back with Cory here, and Cory Looks like he's finally brought some paint into this drawing aspect. So really coming in and creating some texture around these doodled figures. Grounding it a little bit, I think, in the bottom with that green. It's lending this piece some weight, which I think is good. Back with Larriona here. Very limited palette in the portrait, getting kind of this monochrome in the use of the palette, the portrait, very focused on light and shadow. And we have some stylization as well. I think, especially in the eyes there, you're getting more of an illustrative effect. And looks like our figure has some bangs as well. Going into the second eye here, that's always a challenge in portraits. You got to make sure that the eyes are registering centrally if you're trying to establish eye contact. Even if the pupil is just a little bit off, it can make for an odd looking portrait, but looks like Larriona has placed those quite well. Back with Brittney here, and our splashing faucet. And she's doing, looks like Brittney is bringing in a lot of highlight work into this piece now. And the upward splash that she's got going from the first drop that is going into the water is expanding and almost looking kind of floral. Back with Brittney here, and our splashing faucet. And she's doing, looks like Brittney is bringing in a lot of highlight work into this piece now. And the upward splash that she's got going from the first drop that is going into the water is expanding and almost looking kind of floral. Back with Brittney here, and our splashing faucet. And she's doing, looks like Brittney is bringing in a lot of highlight work into this piece now. And the upward splash that she's got going from the first drop that is going into the water is expanding and almost looking kind of floral. Back with Brittney here, and our splashing faucet. And she's doing, looks like Brittney is bringing in a lot of highlight work into this piece now. And the upward splash that she's got going from the first drop that is going into the water is expanding and almost looking kind of floral. Back with Brittney here, and our splashing faucet. We have Homa here, really bringing it home with this portrait by adding in that kind of turquoise highlight background, creating a really nice balance against the gold there. And the upward splash that she's got going from the first drop that is going into the water is expanding and almost looking kind of floral. Back with Brittney here, and our splashing faucet. We have Homa here, and really bringing it home with this portrait by adding in that kind of turquoise background, creating a nice balance. Almost doing the opposite color palette going from that we just saw Homa working with. So Anthony has is expanding and almost swirling turquoise waters at the base of the mermaid here, and is now adding yellow into the top. Our splashing faucet. We have Homa that nice color contrast here. Really bringing it home with this portrait by adding in kind of end up using colors that are creating a similar because almost doing all of these artists are grabbing paint that we just saw Homa working with. So Anthony has and so often exploring turquoise waters at see how the artist of the mermaid here is now adding yellow into the top. Splashing and we have that nice color contrast here. Really bringing it home with this portrait by adding in that kind of end up using colors that are creating a similar because almost doing all of opposite color palette paint that we just saw Homa working with. So Anthony has and so often it's swirling turquoise waters that see how the artist of the mermaid here is now adding yellow into the top.
Splashing
And we have Homa
that nice
here,
color contrast
and
here.
really bringing
Here,
it with this
the
work
artist
that
by
will
adding kind of water
end up
highlight
using colors that are
creating
kind
the
of
similarity
now
because
almost doing all of these
opposite
artists
color
are
palette
paint
from
that we just saw Homa working with. So Anthony has and so often it's swirling turquoise waters that see how the artist of the mermaid here is now adding yellow into the top.
Splashing
And we have Homa
that nice
here,
color contrast here.
really bringing it
Here,
with this work
artist
that
by
will
adding kind of water
end up
highlight
using colors that are
creating the similarity
now
because
almost doing all of these artists are paint that we just saw Homa working with. So Anthony has and so often it's swirling turquoise waters that see how the artist of the mermaid here is now adding yellow into the top.
Splashing
And we have Homa
that nice
here,
color contrast here.
really bringing it with this
the
work
artist
that
by
will
adding kind of water
end up
highlight
using colors that are
creating the similarity
now
because
almost doing all of these artists are paint that we just saw Homa working with. So Anthony has and so often it's swirling turquoise waters that see how the artist of the mermaid here is now adding yellow into the top.
Splashing
And we have Homa
that nice
here,
color contrast here.
really bringing it with this
the
work
artist
that
by
will
adding kind of water
end up
highlight
using colors that are
creating the similarity
now
because
almost doing all of these artists are paint that we just saw Homa working with. So Anthony has and so often it's swirling turquoise waters that see how the artist of the mermaid here is now adding yellow into the top.
Splashing
And we have Homa
that nice
here,
color contrast here.
really bringing it with this
the
work
artist
that
by
will
adding kind of water
end up
highlight
using colors that are
creating the similarity
now
because
almost doing all of these artists are paint that we just saw Homa working with. So Anthony has and so often it's swirling turquoise waters that see how the artist of the mermaid here is now adding yellow into the top.
Splashing
And we have Homa
that nice
here,
color contrast here.
really bringing it with this
the
work
artist
that
by
will
adding kind of water
end up
highlight
using colors that are
creating the similarity
now
because
almost doing all of these artists are paint that we just saw Homa working with. So Anthony has and so often it's swirling turquoise waters that see how the artist of the mermaid here is now adding yellow into the top.
Splashing
And we have Homa
that nice
here,
color contrast here.
really bringing it with this
the
work
artist
that
by
will
adding kind of water
end up
highlight
using colors that are
creating the similarity
now
because
almost doing all of these artists are paint that we just saw Homa working with. So Anthony has and so often it's swirling turquoise waters that see how the artist of the mermaid here is now adding yellow into the top.
Splashing
And we have Homa
that nice
here,
color contrast here.
really bringing it with this
the
work
artist
that
by
will
adding kind of water
end up
highlight
using colors that are
creating the similarity
now
because
almost doing all of these artists are paint that we just saw Homa working with. So Anthony has and so often it's swirling turquoise waters that see how we are now entering our final few minutes of the competition. The array of different styles of work displayed in this first round, we have Angelina's work, which is very intuitive. Homa's work, very emotive portrait. Anthony Pena with this pop culture referencing mermaid piece. Cory Chiles with this more street art based doodle approach. So now is the time for you to go to vote at artbattle.com/vote. we will choose the top 2 artists as voted by the audience, move forward into a third and final round. So make sure that you go to artbattle.com/vote. That is where you will register. Also, all of the pieces created tonight are available for silent auction and are available at that same link. We are going to take a short break and we'll be back for round number 2 very shortly. We will have another 6 incredible artists up at the easels with another 20 minutes on the clock and 6 more masterpieces to be created. Stay tuned. We are just getting ready for round number 2 in Art Battle Omaha. We are going to have another 6 awesome artists stepping up to the easels, another 6 blank canvases, and another 20 minutes on the clock. Stay tuned. Here we are just taking a tour of all of the works that were created in round number 1. We have this kind of cubist-inspired portrait from Angelina Gutierrez. This moodier portrait here from our Wildcard Homa. Oh, and now it looks like we're panning over to check out round number 2, which is coming up very, very soon. I think that we're getting our artist announcements now, actually. We are going to have another 6 artists up at the easel, another 6 blank canvases, and another 20 minutes only on the clock. And you will help us choose which artists move forward into the 3rd and final round. Painting with us here tonight, we have Trevin Jones, Jeremy R Henson, Angelica, Amanda N. Williams, Howard Thiel, and our wildcard, Jasmine. These artists are going to have 20 minutes only on the clock, and we are getting ready to count down in... Okay, the artist brushes are up. They are ready to go. Five, four, three, two, one. And they are off. This marks the beginning of round number 2 of Art Battle in Omaha. My name is Morgan Booth, and I am your host tonight, and I am joined by Chris Pemberton. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Morgan. How are you doing?
I'm so good. I love doing Art Battle Omaha. This is our 3rd time, 3rd event in the city, I believe.
Yeah, I think that it is, and we're having a real show here tonight. Great first round.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of different breadth of style, for sure.
Yeah, and we're going to see more varieties here in the 2nd round. One of the most beautiful things about Art Battle is you get to see so many different approaches to completing a painting in 20 minutes.
I know, it's wild. Literally 12 different artistic modes. Ooh, here we are with Jeremy Henson, and he was one of the artists that I was really excited about. Jeremy has this kind of like blob sketching style is the only way that I can think of describing it, but lots of heavy paint application already.
Yeah, and looks like he is working to work on his background there, working in with some white. You're going to mix those colors in as he adds more to it.
Angelica here at easel number 3. Looks like we're getting our initial sketch in yellow, which I think is smart.
Yeah, very interesting idea. It doesn't stand out too much against the later colors. A good way to make it disappear.
Mm-hmm. Amanda Williams here, getting this kind of wash to establish, so perhaps a landscape?
Could be. It's got the canvas in a portrait style, but is working on the 1/3, 2/3 sort of landscape ratio there. These are really nice canvases here. We have some gallery stretch canvases. Are going to look beautiful wherever they hang.
Yeah, I was just kind of checking that out too. I love a nice thick stretched canvas. And also, all of these works are available for silent auction at the link that is displayed on the screen, which is also your voting link.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely get some good deals here tonight. These painters' works are usually a little bit more affordable at Art Battle than they are at the studio, so it's a good way to start or continue a collection. Here
we're with Howard Thiel, and I have to say I'm really liking the attitude of this portrait already. It's a little bit illustrative and a little bit sketchy, and I'm digging it.
Yeah, he's sketching in a lot of fine detail. It'll be interesting to see how he applies the paint and if he's able to keep that detail sharp or if he has to redo it.
Ooh, Jasmine here coming in with the curveball. I think I know what this is.
Yeah, we've seen painting like this one before, and it looks like it's a giant eyeball.
I think that it might even be a feline eyeball. Maybe a tiger, perhaps, with this kind of the
Oh,
palette
yeah,
going on around it.
it could be. I thought maybe it was a bird, but you could be right with the palette they're using. It definitely could be a tiger.
And Trevin Jones here. And I was thinking that Trevin's work was going to be a lot like darker, just from what I was checking out before, but we're getting a really light color palette. Ooh, and check out Jeremy. Okay, blobby sketching. This is what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
This is awesome.
Definitely not his first rodeo here. He knows what he's doing. His approach is it's tight and loose at the same time, which is a winning combination for sure. So,
It's
in
oh, it's so good. Look at the control here of these strings of paint.
yeah, really, really interesting method. Love the touchless application of paint, and looks like he has watered down his paint enough that it's getting those fine drippy lines coming right off the brush.
Yeah, you would have to go for the perfect viscosity. And who are we here with? We are back with Angelica, and Angelica is now adding in some of this light green to complement this yellow, which is making me think that that's going to be kind of where we're going with this piece, as opposed to it just being an undersketch.
Yeah, definitely sort of building up the color here. It'll be interesting to see if she brings in some darker contrast later. Hard to tell exactly what it is. If is this an abstract piece? Is it a floral piece?
Mm-hmm.
Hard to tell at these early stages. Sort of looks a little floral right now.
Yeah, or like a peacock feather, something
Could
along
be.
those lines. And back with Amanda, and I think I was wrong, not a landscape.
Not a landscape for sure.
Someone
Looks
sitting
like,
in the clouds?
yeah, definitely a figure sort of reclined in a seated position. Um, Not your typical pose, maybe something that you would see at a life drawing class, a little bend of the torso there, maybe looking back over their shoulder.
Ooh, I think that I'm starting to see. I'll comment on it when we come back. But yeah, I really like this portrait from Howard. It's a little bit like the vibe of it is a little off kilter, and that's really working for me.
Yeah, I think he may be doing a portrait of the gentleman that they showed standing there behind him.
Ooh, Jasmine coming in hot. This is looking great. This has come a long way in just a few minutes since we saw her last. It looks like she's really getting a great capturing of the light inside of the eyeball here.
Oh yeah, very interesting, and working sort of on the outside. It's just a few minutes gone now. I think more than half the time left. It'll be interesting to see what she's able to do with this piece, as she is seemingly nearing a sort of a completion point here. Be interesting to see what she does with the rest of the time.
Yeah, that piece matured pretty quickly. Okay, back with Tevin, and what is Tevin up to? Seeing these short kind of staccato brush marks happening but I haven't quite got the feel for what this piece is representing yet.
No, very hard to say. I mean, for a moment I thought that might be a unicorn. I thought maybe it was a nude, but it is really unclear as to what it is right now. And here we have our friend working on the ground.
Jeremy, I love this so much.
Are those Air Jordans?
You would know better than I, but I think that's a correct guess.
I think this is a Nike Air Jordan shoe that he has drawn out here, painted in. And again, we have a lot of time left, so it'll be interesting to see what he does with the composition.
Yeah, this piece is very done to me, basically at this point. And I think something that we could note from what Jeremy was doing previously when he laid all of that thick white paint on, I think that that's allowing for a little bit better of slip of the further paint that he's layering over top of that.
Yeah. We're seeing an eye here in this piece. This could be a dragon bending over. I'm not sure, but definitely seeing an eye in this yellow and green piece that I thought looked a little bit floral. It's not that. It's a creature of some kind.
Yeah, and
maybe more than one.
Very careful brushwork here. Getting some really clean lines. This piece is very, very clean.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. This is a cherub sitting in a cloud.
We've got our wings kind of starting to touch into the clouds. And we can see that Amanda is kind of creating this gradient.
Yeah. Working now on bringing some life and texture into those clouds. A really interesting angle here. A lot of figurative work lives and dies on the angle of the neck. And this cherub has a very interesting tilt to the head there. That's a very interesting composition. Definitely is painting a portrait of this gentleman who is standing right here.
Yes, absolutely. And I kudos to our camera person for giving us that inclusion there as well. I always think it's interesting when artists choose to have a live model during the battle. I feel like it's a really great audience engagement tool because they can really they can literally see who you're painting and making that direct contrast.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's rather bold to do that, as it's so obvious right away if you've done a good job or not. So, got to be sort of brave to do that. Here we have the large eye of what you think might be a tiger, perhaps. The eye of the tiger, as they say.
And Jasmine has done such a great job rendering this so quickly. I think that her only challenge now is going to be not overpainting it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if she's able to achieve that. She does have quite a bit of time left. Maybe she'll do a brush drop.
Oh, I love a brush drop.
I know you do.
Back with Trevin here. A ship in the background.
Is that what that is?
I think so. Yeah, I think that we've got a ship going on in the background, still working on figuring out the foreground, but that might be intentional within this piece by Trevin, that he wants this kind of intentional whimsy meets chaos kind of situation.
Yeah, for sure. And a very interesting palette. The pinks are sort of unusual in this sort of a fantasy landscape here almost.
Yeah, definitely enjoying the palette. It's almost like an array of like sherbet colors,
Yeah, definitely.
and it's definitely
Taste it.
changing the vibe.
Yeah.
Back with Jeremy here. I would say that he should go for a brush top, but he wouldn't be dropping his brush from far, being that he's working on the floor. And for our audience, we like to call a brush drop is when an artist finishes their painting early.
That's right. So looks like he's definitely slowed down on his work there. Will
We
be
have
interesting to
about
see if he puts it up on the easel.
We've got about 5 minutes remaining. I just heard our announcer. So Angelica here, creating this really interesting, surreal creature, feathery creature. Definitely a piece that gives you a lot of opportunity for eye bounce. Just your eyes really bouncing around the canvas because your brain is trying to kind of fit it into a category.
Yeah. The green and the blue really makes me want some some fuchsia in there, maybe.
Yeah, I would love a little bit of a shot of hot color in there. Every saint has a past, every sinner has a future.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of blend out in the clouds as well, and I think that that's helped to harmonize this piece.
Yeah, very cool. We haven't seen a lot of text-based pieces recently, so this one's very interesting. One place that we do see a lot of text-based paintings is in our London, UK, London, England shows. There seems to be a lot of text work going on over there in the art community, but not as much here in the US. So very interesting, nicely said, and nicely balanced in there with the composition. Doesn't take away from it at all.
Back with Howard here. I'm digging this portrait. It's almost the way that Howard has executed this, it almost looks like dry media, but we know from watching it that he's been painting this. So
Yeah.
it's looking very like sketchy charcoal-y to me.
Yeah, and this audience member has been a terrific sport there.
Yes.
He has given up his ability to view all 6 of the paintings. He's just got to stand there and watch himself come to life on the canvas. So good for him. Nice to see a good sport there in the audience. And Art Battle's all about participation, so that's nice to see.
Jasmine here, adding in some more texture into the eye, kind of creating a sharper focus, whereas the rest of the piece has been blended and is creating a little bit of a blur effect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and now we've got the nose here, so I think that it's a cat rather than a tiger, because I feel like it would be a black nose if it was a tiger.
Yeah, you're probably right. You are the resident tiger nose expert around here, so
I pride myself on this distinction.
yeah, you would know.
And back with our sherbet scene with Trevin. Do we have... Is that an 8 in there?
Not sure.
Great texture here.
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
Jeremy. I would love to see this piece up close and see the way that the shadows play on all of these different ridges of the piece, but I think it'll be a little while before Jeremy wants to lift that up.
I hope he gets it onto the easel by the end of the round. I'd love to see it up there and get a good view at it. Also for the audience's ability to see it and enjoy it and judge it along with the others. I think it's better up on there, but if his paint is really loose, he's probably worried about the slide. Here we are with Angelica. She might be putting a second facial feature in up here.
And we are really down in the time crunch as well. So for her to be starting a new component of the piece could potentially be a risky move.
For sure, and that's last minute. You either stick with your plan or you try and change it up, and trying to change at the last minute can be very dangerous, as you can end up losing every bit of ground that you gained up to that point. So the last minute is a very tense one. I really like what you've done with that cherub there. Just the way that the hair, the colors in the hair of the cherub have been flushed out. I think that's a strong piece. I think that's one of the stronger ones in the farm.
And the highlights on that cat's eye, Jasmine blended that out a little bit more. All right, we are coming in with our countdown. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brushes down. That marks the end of round number 2 in Art Battle Omaha.
Very exciting. They're going to be a close vote here. There's no standout number one piece. I think that they're all sort of coming in with the same caliber, and it will be interesting to see which way that the audience votes. But of course, you watching at home can vote too. Please go to artbattle.com/vote and register and get in there and cast your vote. Which of these painters do you want to see paint for a second time?
Yes, the top 2 from round number 1 and the top 2 from this round will be painting in a third showdown round. This time with I think a larger canvas also.
And these are a nice size. I think these are a little bit bigger than 18 by 24.
Mm-hmm. And
These
all of them,
maybe 20 by 24. I don't know.
And all of these pieces are also available for silent auction at that same link on the screen.
Yeah, very good. Now's the time to get your vote in there. Check out the bidding on these pieces, and thank you for joining us to participate in Art Battle Omaha. We are very excited to be here.
And we are going to take a short break while we reset the easels and count up all of the votes, getting ready to hear who our finalists are for round number 3, and we will be back shortly. And looks like we are just getting our announcement of our finalists moving on to round number 3. Moving forward from round number 1, Brittney Thompson. And Cory Chiles. Our third finalist, moving forward from round number 2, Jeremy Henson. And also Howard Thiel. And actually, we have a tie in round number 2 for the second spot to move forward. So we will have actually a 5-way final this time. Our wildcard Jasmine is also moving forward. So we are going to reset our easels, give our artists an opportunity to grab some new paints to get ready to do this thing all over again. They're going to have another 20 minutes on the clock in the final round. Our final 5 coming up in just a few minutes. Okay, we are just getting ready for round number 3, beginning in 4, 3, 2, 1. And our 5 finalists are off in the final round. I always think it's so exciting when there's a tie, and adding a 5th artist into the final is so exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool, especially that it's the wild card. What a interesting surprise that is.
And what a fun night for her, too. Big congrats to Jasmine, because I do not think that she intended on painting tonight, given that she's wearing entirely white.
No, probably she wasn't planning on painting, but she did a good enough job to get enough votes, and here she is painting in the final of Omaha, Nebraska.
We have our super... Oh, here we have Brittney going in with another super bright gradient, which I'm really digging. Brittney's first round piece just had all of these gorgeous kind of pastel-y colors melding together, and then she put something very whimsical on top, so can't wait to see where she goes with that.
Yeah, going to be interesting. I'd love to see a second painting from her. This is going to be very interesting. I'm interested to see what our other 2 second round winners pull out here in the final. Very interesting pieces, and we're going to see something completely different from them, I'm sure.
And lots of color on the easel from Jasmine here. It looks like she's taking a different approach from what she did in her qualifying round.
She hasn't had a lot of time to plan 2 paintings. She wasn't planning on painting at all, so it'd be interesting to see what she's come up with.
And Jeremy here, I wonder if we're going to get another shoe. What do you think?
It looks a little bit boxy to be a shoe, but I wouldn't put it past him. A lot of artists love to do series and like to have a continuous narrative from their first and second pieces, so it'll be very interesting to see.
And Cory here has blocked off what looks like... Oh, originally I thought it was going to be all where he's blocked off the eyes, but I see that he's drawing eyes above this blocked off piece too.
Is that tape?
I think it is tape. And then we can see that Cory's just sketching around it.
And here we have Howard, who did the portrait of the audience member in the second round. Does he have a model this time?
I want our camera person to pan around, and because that would be a hard pose for an audience member to hold for 20 minutes.
Look away from me for 20 minutes.
Yeah, and stand on one foot. Okay, I'm hearing 15 minutes left on the clock.
Oh, time is going very quickly.
Yes, absolutely. So some sort of central focus happening for Brittney here.
Mm-hmm.
I am so curious. We're getting kind of this almond shape. And looks like Brittney might be having a little bit of trouble achieving opacity with the white that she's got going over top of these washes.
So hard to paint wet on wet. It is definitely one of the greatest challenges in completing a piece in just 20 minutes. And if you're not experienced, you can run yourself into a lot of trouble that way.
Nice silhouette work from Jasmine here.
Yeah.
Strong.
You get a couple of trees there, and hard to see what she's working on in the middle, but an interesting approach. She's the wild card, so we don't have any studio references of hers to look at, but it'd be interesting to know if this is a painting that she's done before, or if she's totally out in the wilderness here.
Well, it looks like we're getting our rapid pan And back with Cory here. And it looks like Cory's now going in with some black. Is it black paint or perhaps an oil pastel, maybe? What do you think?
I think it's a brush.
Keeping it classic.
I think it's a brush.
So Cory's initially gone in with a Sharpie and is now creating those heavier lines with this paintwork.
Yeah, I like the way that's turning out. It's looking very good. And here we have Howard again. I think this figure is facing us with their head sort of thrown back, and they are dancing.
Yeah, it's an odd pose to try and figure out. There's a lot of different areas of foreshortening here that our brains are kind of trying to process. So I can't wait to see how this continues to progress. There's great movement in it already, and just the oddity of the pose, I think, is very engaging and makes people want to be around this painting and see what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that's always very interesting when you're attending an art battle is to be able to watch where the audience sort of collects, who they're watching. Usually you can see who the favorites are in the round by the amount of people that are standing behind them watching. Harder for us to see that on the stream, but definitely one of the benefits of attending in person.
And I believe that we've figured out what the central focus was for Brittney. And we have, I think, a human eye instead of cat eye this time, taking up just the middle portion. So she's really created a lot of focus here. And this is also the area of highest saturation with this turquoise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of space left around the eye here. It's going to be interesting to see how she frames that. If she puts it into a head or if it's just a floating giant eye.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be floating because I think it's going to end up leaning a little bit into kind of that surrealist quality.
But will it be drippy?
Will it be drippy? These are the questions. These are the important questions, folks. Okay, 10 minutes I'm hearing now. 10 minutes remaining on the clock.
We have a African savanna scene here from Jasmine. She's painted what looks like a giraffe and an elephant sort of at dusk on the African savanna in silhouette. So that is a interesting piece. And well, here he's working on the ground again. He's not.
Oh, it's not a shoe.
It's not a shoe. It is. I mean, it looks sort of like it could be like a video game console.
Oh, that's a good call. I was gonna say Zippo, but I think you're right. I think it is a video game console.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what it is here. It looks like a classic first generation Nintendo, but it'd be hard to see it'd be easier to see as it develops here. Here we are with Cory. Still got his tape on there. I wonder if he's planning on leaving it on the canvas, or I'm hoping we're going to get a satisfying pull here where he's going to reveal the white space beneath and perhaps add something in there later on.
I know I love a good tape pull. And back with Howard here. Oh, and Howard is... Oh, I thought he was obscuring the bottom of the figure, but he's just creating kind of these line elements to suggest movement.
Yeah. One thing that's so hard to paint in any form is the hand, and how it looks like Howard's having a little bit of challenge with his hand there. And here we have some lash work on this giant eye. Not drippy yet.
Yeah, not drippy. And now that I'm starting to see Brittney kind of working in the bottom area of the eye, I'm wondering if we're going to get something that's a picture within a pupil of the eye or the iris.
Oh,
Or if that's just a highlight.
well, here she is trying to work in her the whites of the eyes, trying to put it in later, and maybe having a little bit of difficulty with the wet on wet paint mixing.
Yeah, very hard to kind of nudge that white up against the black lash line without creating any muddiness, but it's looking pretty clean so far. Good contrast choices from Jasmine, throwing in the yellow right at the very beginning of that piece. It's really helping her now. So even though Jasmine was the wild card, we can see that she definitely went into this piece with a plan.
Yeah, she definitely did. And I kind of can say that I think that this is a Nintendo gaming console, and that's a controller. You can't see it; it's right behind his cup there, but that's what this looks like. It is. Be interesting to see if the audience is able to figure that out and relate to it. And again, he's working on the floor, which can be a little bit of a drawback. It's harder for the audience to get in there and experience it. So we'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm. Stay positive. So more text-based work. So this is our second or third text-based piece in this event tonight, because we did see Howard and add some text into his piece at the very end. So we're text trending in Omaha.
There you go.
Watch out, London.
Look out. Here comes Omaha. Some decent shading on the body here, as given some form to the chest area of this figure. He did not paint a background in on his last piece, so I don't think he's going to do that here on this piece.
Sorry, I was just listening, trying to catch our announcer there. I think that the announcement was 5 minutes on the clock. The vibrancy of the iris of the eye is working really well here for Brittney, especially that she's made the choice to do it blue with that yellow so close underneath it.
Yeah. Oh, we got some nice work here in the foreground. Definitely given some 3D perspective to this piece here by Jasmine.
And some textural components in the trees as well. Yeah, definitely giving that kind of sunrise vibe now with the light kind of spilling into the foreground.
Yeah.
It's funny that this is so easily discernible, even though it's quite abstracted still and like lacking in details intentionally. It's just it's kind of picking up on those small iconic moments, like the color palette of Nintendo.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I wonder how he came up with that idea. He painted a shoe and now he's painted a Nintendo. That's not your usual subject matter for art battle, although we have seen a shoe painted more than once in New York City. So that's got that in common. Here we have, he did get some background shading on here. I don't know if that has helped this piece. It's a little too black running up to the edge of the body there. Kind of throws it off a little bit, but interesting work. And here we have the more work on the iris.
Just kind of adding in those striations to really draw us in. And then, of course, the addition of the catchlight, which is always my favorite on any portrait, anywhere, anytime. The catchlight being that small little punch of circular highlight right on the iris there. Always kind of makes the portrait come alive.
You can see underneath her, she's got her reference material, so she was planning on painting an eye tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely came prepared. Always like seeing an artist bringing their own sketches to use as reference.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of respect for them.
Yeah, here we have our Wildcard Jasmine doing her second work of the night. She's done a great job to get through to the final. Not expecting to paint, expecting to be an audience member here tonight, but was brave enough to put her name into the hat, and here she has been rewarded with a second turn at the easel.
And only one artist from this round will be crowned the final winner of the night, and that artist will be moving forward into the Omaha finals at the end of the season. So it's definitely every vote counts. You could really make the difference for one of these artists. So everyone out there, make sure that you get in there at artbattle.com/vote.
Yeah, very cool. We are going to have a representative from Omaha at the national championships in 2023, which is will be the first time, and very cool to see more regions of the country represented. I feel pretty good about that.
Absolutely. Kind of diving into our final rendering moments. Oh, unexpected eyebrow.
Yeah.
Feel like that's a good band name.
I think that is a good name, yeah. That's a good name.
Oh, the addition of the blue from Jasmine here is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 30 seconds left on the clock. These artists are making their final decisions.
Yeah, and if that is indeed red tape, it looks like it is staying on the canvas, which is not exactly within the rules, but probably going to let that go tonight.
Okay, brushes down. And I love seeing all of the artists kind of that moment of disengaging from the canvas that they've been so heavily focused on for the last 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You can see there's like, it's almost like they're coming out of a trance.
Yeah, definitely. Stepping back and seeing it through sudden audience eyes. It's always interesting.
And again, quite the breadth of styles here. No classical portraits, though. I think it's been a while since we've seen a final round that didn't have something that would be akin to a traditional style portrait.
Yeah, definitely. Usually you do see that in the final, but none of that here tonight. 5 very different subjects, 5 very different approaches. Really, 5 really creative looks at a piece. So will be interesting to see which way the audience goes. And if you are watching us here, you can vote too. Go to artbattle.com/vote. You can register with your phone number and participate in Art Battle Omaha from wherever you are.
So we are just counting up the votes as they come in. And once again, I definitely want to remind everyone to absolutely cast your vote, even if you're having a hard time picking your favorite. We often hear from our voting manager, Gina, that the difference between a winning artist can even be as small as one vote. So get in there.
Absolutely. We see that all the time. Every vote counts. So please do cast your vote. And everyone in the place right now is having a look at all the pieces and casting their vote, deciding who it is they want to be crowned as the champion. We see our wildcard artist Jasmine there going to clean herself up. Maybe she got a little paint on her hands, doesn't want to get it on her nice white outfit. Pretty smart there. Go clean your hands and come back and wait for the voting results.
And if you guys have been enjoying watching the stream with us tonight, we actually have quite a few streams coming up next week that are going to be equally as exciting. We have Chicago next Friday, and the following week we are going to have our battle in Toronto, which Chris and I will be there in person, and I'll be streaming from there in person as well. And then following that, we have San Francisco and Ottawa.
Fantastic. I can't wait to see Ottawa this month. They got a real killer lineup there. This is their will be their second event back since the pandemic. The first one was the finals last year. So I'm really excited to tune in and watch Art Battle in Canada's capital city in Ottawa there. So that's going to be very exciting. But we are in Omaha tonight, and we are waiting for the votes to come in, find out who it is going to be the champion here tonight.
Only one will emerge. We are just getting our winner announcement for Art Battle Omaha. And our winning artist is Cory Chiles.
All right, congratulations, Cory.
We can see his friends all really, really excited for him there.
Yeah,
So-
great. Well done.
Cory will be moving forward to the Omaha City Finals at the end of the season. He will be joining the best of the best that Omaha has to offer in terms of live artists, and that will be surely an amazing event.
Fantastic. Can't wait. And I think we'll be back here in Omaha. I think they're doing it every 2 months. So we should see another show here in November, I imagine.
Yes, November 26th.
November 26th. There you go. That's going to be great.
All right. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in with us and helped us support these artists tonight. And be sure to keep an eye on our Facebook, where we are often hosting our live stream events. We will be streaming Chicago next Friday.
Fantastic. Thanks for a great night, Morgan.
Thank you so much, Chris. You the best.
You are. All right. Take
Okay.
care, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.